Hi, are we live?
Hi. Yes, we
Hi,
are.
how are you?
I'm good. You caught me off guard there. What's up?
Great to see you.
I know. How was your day?
It's been incredible. I've been on some amazing coaching calls for Astro Flipping and Flip Me. And today is going to be a special Straight Outta Compin because today we're going to focus primarily on evaluating deals for potential fix and flips. Okay.
Love
Now, here's why I want to do this because a lot of you guys are out there looking at opportunities and finding potential deals, but you're not really evaluating them as though you might be a fix and flipper, a rehabber. And I need you to understand that your buyers for a lot of these deals are going to fix and flip the property. And so I want to evaluate these opportunities to say, does this actually make sense as a fix and flip or does it not make sense as a fix and flip? So to help us, I've invited all of my students from the Flip Me coaching program to be in here. Now, guys, this is why this is incredible. If you have a deal that you have under contract that you might be looking for a fix and flip buyer for, you now have 45-ish fix and flip buyers in the chat. You see all these hammers in the chat? See the hammers in the chat? Okay, these guys are here to do business with you. Okay, they're here to buy deals. They're here to look at fix and flip opportunities. Don't take this lightly. Very rarely will you ever have somebody bring to you an entire room full of buyers. Okay? Who needs a deal sold? Hit me up. Look at this. We got buyers, 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 all these buyers sitting in here in the chat, ready to do business with us. So, guys, take advantage of this. You don't get this anywhere else but here on Straight Outta Compin. I'm playing matchmaker today. We're evaluating fix and flip properties. Emily, put up the appraisal rules, please.
Dude, you are insane.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, guys, these are the appraisal rules. And why do we care about the appraisal rules? Because all of these beautiful people that are here from my Flip Me program are all fix and flip buyers who will ultimately sell their project on the open market. And when they sell their project on the open market, guess what happens? They sell to a retail buyer. That retail buyer goes and gets a mortgage. They go and get a loan. That loan is going to be subject to an appraisal. So it's important that when you are evaluating your deals, you follow the appraisal rules so that you're not out of alignment with the way that your buyer is going to be running their numbers and the appraisal rules that they're subject to when they're actually going to exit out of the deal. That's why this is important. We're going to go over them real quick. When you are comparing two properties, you need to make sure that they are in the same subdivision. Okay. Now, how do you do that? Well, the easiest way for me is to not cross any major roads. If I'm not crossing a major road, I'm very likely staying in the subdivision. I can only compare properties that are within plus or minus, and we're going to have to change this one, Emily. It's 300 square feet is what I've been finding more and more and more acceptable these days. So it's plus or minus 300 square feet. We can only compare properties that are of the same property type. So if you have a ranch house, you can only compare it to another rancher. If you have a colonial, compare it to another colonial. If you have a two-story, compare it to a two-story. You see what I mean? You also only want to compare properties that are in the same build generation. So that means typically within plus or minus 10 years of construction. Now, you're not always going to find properties that have the exact same characteristics. Sometimes you're going to find a ranch that has a 4-bed, 2-bath, and maybe your comp is a 3-bed, 2-bath. So how do you adjust for the extra bedroom or a missing bathroom or a pool or a garage? Well, these are the numbers, guys. An extra bedroom can be worth anywhere from 10 to 25K. A bathroom can be worth approximately 10,000. A pool, sadly enough, is only worth 10,000. A garage, and this is actually I've seen start changing. This is now getting between 10 to 20,000. So Emily, we also want to make the adjustment for a garage. And the carport, I've seen the values for carports starting to have some upward pressure as well. I've been seeing that they tend to be worth around $10,000 now instead of $5,000. So we'll make that adjustment. And then, guys, last but not least, if you are dealing with a property that is on, if you can scroll up for us, great. If you are siding, backing, or fronting any traffic or commercial. If your price point is under $500,000, these are the adjustments you want to make. Siding, traffic, or commercial is an impact of around 10 grand. Backing siding or backing commercial or traffic is an impact of around 10 grand. And fronting commercial or traffic has an impact of 10 to 20,000 under 500K. But when we go over 500K, so over $500,000 would be considered luxury. That changes from thousands to percents. So siding a busy road will give you a loss of 10%. Backing a busy road will give you a loss of 15%. Fronting a busy road will give you a loss of 20%. And last but not least, guys, if you are dealing with an additional dwelling unit, or if you're dealing with a basement, you will only get maximum 50% of its value. So I see this happen a lot in the Midwest where people are developing basements. They tend to neglect, or they tend to forget, or they try to add that full square footage into the equation, and that's not how it works. So let's start with some properties, and I have one that I want to start with by evaluating, one that is out in California here. I have the address here. Hold on a second. We'll get going.
All righty.
We have a deal out in Fair Oaks, California. All right, so here we have a property in Fair Oaks, California. The property address is 4625 Chicago Ave, Fair Oaks, California. Incredible. All right, here we have this beautiful house out here in Fair Oaks, California. It's a 5-bed, 4-bath, 4,473 square feet. So it's got a lot of square footage to it. Now, when you look at the house, it's in pretty decent condition. It's very livable, but it's super dated, right? We've got these old cabinets. We got this old tub in here. You know, everything, every surface in this house, even though it's, you know, fairly nice, is going to require a cosmetic upgrade. Now, I want you guys to understand that you're typically looking at around $35 to $40 a square foot when you are doing construction. All right. So let's start by understanding how much would it cost for us to renovate this property. Okay, we're going to do this a little different today, guys, because remember, we are evaluating and we are underwriting for potential fix and flips. So let's take the 4,473 square feet and let's multiply that by, let's say, $35 a foot. Okay, that takes us to this renovation costing about $156,000. Now, if our purchase price is $1,150,000, our total cost basis before any lender costs and before having to pay any commissions is going to be $1.306 million. Now let's see if this is actually a deal or not by seeing what the ARV is. So we have a 5-bed, 4-bath, 4,473 square foot property. It's been on the market for 36 days. It is pending, so it is under contract, meaning that a wholesaler might have this deal available. We're not sure. It's been viewed 6,752 times in the 36 days, which is actually a fairly decent amount of eyeballs. But, you know, being on the market for 36 days means that there could be a little bit of, it could be slightly overpriced, but it is contingent. So let's see why. Now, this is sitting on a 0.8 acre lot, and it's a built-in 1980 property. All right, let's check the comps. Right, here we are. Now for sales, I haven't seen anything crack $1 million yet. Oh, there we go. Here's one. We've got a 4-bed, 4-bath at 1.350. Now let's just see the condition of this. This house has been remodeled. You can see they've got, now I wouldn't necessarily choose these materials, but somebody did, okay? And they spent a lot of money on them. So this is definitely a renovated comp. That tells us that we have a value of approximately 1.3, possibly even 1.4 million, because our subject property is larger by a bit. If there's anything else here that we can see here for a comp, and I don't see that we've got anything higher without crossing over Fair Oaks. Here we got that's a 9,000 square foot property. So that's commercial too. So not for us. Here's 1.28, but I think that 1.35 is going to be our best. So $1.4 million. Now, our cost basis is 1.306. If we sell this property for $1.4 million, remember, guys, you're going to have 6% in real estate commissions and another 1% in closing costs. So that's 7% in costs. Okay. So if we sell for top dollar at 1.4 and we figure out what the 7% costs are, that's $98,000. So you take $1.4 million and you subtract $100,000. That takes us to a total profit of 0. This is not a deal. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Are we seeing how that happened? So we're looking at what are the selling costs going to be, right? There's $100,000 in commissions there. So even though when you look at that deal, if you bought it for 1.1 and its ARV is 1.4, on paper, it might sound like, hey, this is a deal. There's $300,000 in spread there. But if you actually did that deal, you would make no money. 0. And that didn't even take into consideration lender costs. If you had to get a hard money loan on that, that deal would actually lose money. All right. So thank you to Alfredo for bringing us that potential deal to underwrite. I appreciate that. Let's move on to the next.
Awesome. Let's go.
All right. We got this one in Chicago.
Yes.
Will you read that to me, Em?
Yep. 4413 West Iowa Street.
4413 West Iowa Street in Chicago, Illinois. We've got a 5-bed, 3-bath. We don't know the square footage here. So if whoever put that in the chat, if you can tell us the size, that would be incredibly helpful. But this house is absolute shit, right? Look at this. It needs a total remodel. So this is exactly the kind of house we want to look at. All right. It's listed at $248K and it's been on the market for 85 days. What does that tell us? Oh, and only 850 views in 85 days. Well, I can say right off the hop that this house is extremely overpriced. Nobody's looking at it, and it's been sitting on the market in the hottest market in the history of the United States. And once I know how big this property is, I'll be able to tell you what it's worth. Let's see if I can Google it because
yeah, I'm not seeing anything from Eric. You know, he said 1,900 square feet.
Thank you, Eric. Much appreciated. Okay, so 1,900 square feet. So let's see what is happening in the 1,900 square foot range. Now, this hard part is Zillow is not giving us a ton of square footage. So we're going to go to Batch. Our great partners at Batch will do much better. Let's see what they are saying. Beautiful. Okay, here's our subject. What's this 285? So here we have but this is a detached property. Are we attached here or are we detached? Let's see. I couldn't tell. I think we're a detached property here too, right? There's a space between. Yeah. So this is detached, built in 27. So it's a little bit newer than what we have here. So this actually works as a comp, but problem is it's from 2020. So let's see if we can find something newer. But now we know that we're above 285. Let's look at this one at 350. This is 800 square feet larger than our subject, so not going to work. Let's check this 382. From 2020 as well, remodeled, but it's about 400 square feet larger. So I'm going to, well, let's just make the adjustment here and see what this gives us. So we've got 382,000. It's a little bit larger than I like to use. 300 square feet is usually my threshold, but $165 a foot approximately. And let's multiply that by 1956 square feet for our subject. And that takes us to $320,000 for an ARV. So far we're at 320. Let's see if we can find any evidence for something better than 320. There's a 325. Again, just showing us that 320 for that size is probably right on the money. What happened? There we are. Well, here's a great comp. 464 divided by 2114 gives us about 219 a foot. Multiply that by 1956. That gets us to about 420 on our subject, which is incredible. Let's see if there's any more evidence that can back that up. And I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing anything better. So now if we're at about 420, what does it need to be bought at? So now we're talking about something built in 1927. Typically in Chicago, guys, you want to be, for a cosmetic remodel, you want to be at about 65% of ARV. I'm going to say this is not a cosmetic. I'm going to say this is a full gut. So I'm going to take it at 45% of ARV, okay? So 420 times 0.45 gets us to 189. I think you need to buy this property for $189,000. Now, let's work this backwards if you're a fix and flipper, okay? If you buy this house for 189 grand and you renovate at $35 a foot, well, because it's full gut, I'm going to say you're probably going to be at about $45 a foot. So 1956 times 45 is a total construction cost of 88,000. If you buy this for 189,000, you are now into it for a cost basis of around 280 grand. And if you sell at 400 and you take the selling costs of 7% off, that's about 30 grand. 400 minus 30,000 leaves you 370 minus 300 in costs would give you about a $70,000 profit margin on this deal, which is in line with what somebody would expect to make on a project like that. See how this is working? I'm just on the last one I did in Fair Oaks, California. If you were going to buy that, if you wanted that to be a deal, you know, knowing that the ARV was 1.4 and we're going to spend about 150,000 in remodel, you would probably need to buy that house at around $1 million in order for it to make sense. 1.1 was just too high. The profit margin is in that 100 grand. Cool. On to the next. Jamil, Claudio, what's up, bro? I love Claudio. He's a sub 2 student and an incredible guy. He's doing all kinds of business. Jamil, what do you think is better to comp based on ARV minus repairs, profits, assignments, commissions, etc., to get MAO? Or should you should your MAO be based on what investors have purchased cash because those are the actual prices they're buying at? Absolutely, Claudio. Looking at what investors have been paying for properties in cash is going to give you a real-time understanding of what someone's willing to pay in that area. The reason why I don't like calculating ARV or maximum allowable offer by taking ARV minus repairs is, first and foremost, most wholesalers absolutely suck at determining how much something costs. Okay. You know how many wholesaler emails I've been sent where they'll write repairs needed $5,000 or $10,000? First and foremost, I don't know if any of you guys have been to a Home Depot lately, but you can't do shit for $5,000 or $10,000 in a house. You can't. Right now, minimum for a cosmetic remodel, and that's just like the low grade vinyl laminate flooring. That's the cheaper tile choices. You're looking at $35 a square foot. $35 a foot. So, Claudio, why don't I like doing MAO like this? Because first and foremost, everybody gets repair costs wrong. Second, who's deciding how much profit? That's such a subjective number. Because I'll tell you, a lot of guys who are learning about wholesale from YouTube University, they think they should be making $100,000 on every wholesale deal. So are they going to get anything under contract using that kind of shitty math? No, there's no way. Second thing here that's a subjective amount is assignment. What's the assignment fee? Says who? If you go about calculating your maximum allowable offer the way that I do, the way that I teach it is allowing you, it's showing you what you can, the highest that you can offer a seller and still make approximately $10,000. Okay, the average assignment that we make at Keegley is between $10,000 and $15,000. But everybody that we work with is getting the maximum that they can get for their deal. Okay, so Claudio, I love the question. Thank you so much for being a supporter. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being awesome. And thank you for asking this. It was super important.
That was awesome. Our next address is in Texas.
Okay. What's the address? Put it up on the screen.
All righty. I got to go all the way to the top.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I just take pictures of them so I can monitor the.
Oh, it's okay.
There we go. 115 Sun, San Antonio, Texas. Sun with the U.
Okay. 115 Sun. We have a 1951 build, 984 square foot, 2-bed, 1-bath in San Antonio, Texas. Batch's value estimate is $144,322. This is off market, 2-bed, 1-bath, single-story house, 5,700 square foot lot. What is this sucker worth? Now, if you guys are wondering what amazing tool I'm using, I am using the Batch Leads comping tool. If you want to give it a try, you go to batchleads.io/Jamil and you'll get a discount and it'll pay me money to buy sushi for Pace. So here we have a comp at about $147,000 for a slightly larger 2-bed, 1-bath. So that's good. 147 so far. Let's see if I can find anything higher than that though. Here's a new-ish sale. About 300 square feet larger at 144. So we're still at that 150, 148, 150-ish sort of price point. I don't want to cross over any farther over there. Is there anything above here that I can see that makes any sense? Not much. Yeah, I think the ARV on this is approximately 150. And in San Antonio, you want to be at about 70%. So I would be offering them 100. On we go.
Awesome. I believe our next one is in Missouri, MO.
Okay.
3511.
1 second. 3511.
3511 Claremont Avenue. Claremont.
And where is that located?
In Missouri. Independence.
Avenue?
Oh, it's CLAR. No I.
Claremont Avenue?
Oh, south. My bad.
Still not finding it.
3511 South, Claremont Avenue in Independence. Huh.
I would check the address, whoever put that in.
Okay, we'll go to this one in Texas.
Oh, there. I found it. It's okay.
Okay, perfect.
3511 South Claremont Ave, Independence, Missouri is a 1961 build, 1716 square foot, 3-bed, 1-bath. Batch's value estimate on it is $178,000. This was built in 1961. Sitting on a 16,553 square foot lot. Okay, this is not gonna work. Let's change that filter here. Why is it showing me such old comps? Got my filter set. Not quite sure why it's doing that. I'm going to try this in Zillow. Although I'm not even sure if that will work. Okay, here we are. And non-disclosure. Damn it. Okay, back we go. Wonderful. Oh, that's still too small. So we're above 200. We know that based on that one comp. That comp was only 1,200 square feet. We have a 1,700 square foot house. So we're above 200. Let's see if I can find something in the mid twos. Otherwise, we'll have to extrapolate. Too large. Let's see this pending. Wonderful. We've got a pending at 245. Pending at 245, and it's pretty similar. This is a 2-story, and 2 stories tend to be worth a little bit less than a single story. And this is renovated. So we can call it at 245 ARV. 245 ARV. Now, if you're in Independence, Missouri, you're probably going to want to be at about 65%. So 245, 65%. I'd be offering them about 160 on this one. 160.
Lovely. This next one is in Peoria.
Peoria, Arizona?
Yep.
Woo! Okay. You guys, Emily is looking for a house in Peoria.
I am.
What's the address?
16040 North 71st Drive. Your screen came down for some reason.
One 16040 North
71st Drive.
Okay. It doesn't list how many bed and bath, but I'm going to assume it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1632 square footer here in Peoria, Arizona. The Zillow estimate is 230. I can tell you right off the hop, that's low. Looking at some possible comparables, we see some sales in the mid twos. So again, confirming this 230 number. Built in. Oh, it's a mobile. That's why. So we have a mobile manufactured home built in 2005, which is good because it is financeable. Anything that's a manufactured home that's built before 1976, banks won't lend on it. After 1976, the banks will lend on it. So this one is good because the banks will lend on it. But we can only compare it to other manufactured or mobile homes. Right, here's our subject. So all of these right here, these are all single family. So even though they're like right across the road, single family. See that right here? We can't use any of these as comparables. We have to stay in this little pocket of mobile manufactured homes. Here we have spicy comp at 227. Looks to be fairly upgraded, but not, out of line for a manufactured home. I mean, you're not going to put the highest grade stone in a manufactured home. It's just the product doesn't call for it. But this is what I would consider remodeled for a manufactured home. So 230 seems right. Let's see if there's anything higher. Here's another 230 for a 1912 square footer. And this is new. Ooh, but look at this. This is an original condition. Is it, or would they consider this somewhat upgraded? They did upgrade this kitchen. You've got some laminate flooring down in there. They have a backsplash in here. Again, in a manufactured home, you're not going to go balls to the wall when it comes to your finishes. But this is starting to tell me that we might be trending a little bit higher than 230. Let's see if there's any evidence for a possible 250 ARV. Now, that's too big. This is too large to use. There we go. Here's our comp. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1570 square footer, manufactured home, beautifully remodeled. And wow, they did put a nice high-end stone in here. So Jamil, I will eat my words. Maybe I've got some untrue thoughts of the level of finish that a mobile home or a manufactured home should attract. And we can see very clearly here by this comp that they're using very high quality finishes in these manufactured homes, but they're also getting a tremendous number for them as well. $290,000. So let's say that we take this 290. because this house is smaller than ours, and divide that by 1570, gets us to 184 a foot. Times that by 1632, which is our size, it gets us to a $301,000 ARV. What should you offer on this property? 70%. I'd be offering them 210. 210.
Awesome. So our next comp is going to be in New Jersey.
Jersey. Guys, if you are getting value from Straight Outta Compin, do us all a favor and hit the like button. We've got nearly 200 people here on the live, and only like 3 of you have hit the like button. So just hit the like button so YouTube knows that I don't suck. And also it makes us feel good. And every time that somebody hits the like button, Emily gets... What do you get? I'm going to give Emily $1 for every like we have on today's show.
All right, people.
If you want to see, so right now there's 188 of you combined over all the platforms. You want Emily to make $188 today, guys? Smash the like button. Don't be jerks. You love Emily, right? She's so amazing. Come on, give her a like so she gets $1. Okay, on to the next.
Okay, New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay.
561 Lloyd Road.
Lloyd or Lloyd with one L?
LLOYD.
Toms River, New Jersey?
Yes.
Okay, first and foremost, I want to just say, guys, that anything that's for sale by owner is very rarely going to be a deal. It's been available for 55 days, which is, again, going to tell me this is not going to be a good deal. And now, why is that? Well,
Jamil,
let's just first... Yes.
Screen.
Sorry.
Please. We're just watching you go off.
Thanks for cutting me off there, though. I appreciate it. No, okay. Here's the thing. We can tell a narrative about a property and its viability off of just a very quick peek, right? First and foremost, listed at 285. I don't know if that's a good deal or not, but I can tell you I have never seen a good deal for sale by owner, especially that's been available for 55 days. So this tells me that this owner has got no motivation, okay? For 55 days, they've sat here with this property listed on Zillow, and their attitude is nobody gets to make money on my house except for me, right? If they're not even willing to list with an agent, these people are completely against anybody getting any value out of their property except for themselves. So that's the mentality, first and foremost. Secondly, anything that's been available for 55 days and hasn't sold is overpriced, especially in this market, which I would consider the hottest market in real estate in the history of the country. But we've got a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1480 square footer. It's built in 1978, and it's sitting on a 6,000 square foot lot. Let's see what it's worth. Okay, we got 1480 square feet. Here we have a very nice property that appears to be a single story, so we can't use it. This one's too big. Here's a nice single story remodel at 342, but it's only a single story, and we've got a 2-story, and so we can't use this. As much as I'd love to be able to use that, we are not allowed to use it. We have to find a comp that is also a 2-story house. Here's one. Here's a nice 2-story. We just don't know how big it is, so let's Google it and see if we can figure out the size. 12 1294 square feet. Is that right? Yes, it is. So perfect. This is a perfect comp for us. This is slightly smaller than our subject property, but it's nicely renovated in many of the areas of the house. Some of it are a little bit, bland. Ooh, but it has a pool, so we need to make an adjustment for that. All right. So we got 345, but this is smaller than our subject. So if we had 345, divide that by the 1294. Takes us to about 266 a foot. Our subject is 1480. Gets us to about 394 for our ARV. Minus 10,000 for the pool takes us to about 380. So if we are at 380 and in New Jersey, I'd say you need to be at about 65%. So these guys are not terribly priced, but I think it needs to be bought at about 247. Okay, 247. So if you are in communication with the seller, go offer them 247 and you have yourself a deal. Now, again, guys, remember we're underwriting for fix and flips. Let's just work the math backwards on here. If this house can sell for 390 ARV, and we have 1480 square feet of cosmetic remodel at about $35 a foot, that's going to be a $51,000 renovation. If we pick this thing up for $245,000, or even call it $250,000, takes us in at about $300 as a cost basis. And if we sell at, say, $375 at 7% selling cost, that's $26,000. So $350 minus $300 costs. This could make approximately $50,000 if someone was to fix and flip it, which would be in line with the kind of profit you would expect at this price point. See how this is working out, guys? Again, remember, we have about 40 to 45 fix and flip buyers currently sitting in the chat. So if you've got a deal under contract and you're looking for a buyer, make sure you're reaching out and squatting up in the chat. What's next, Em?
All right, Texas. 4906 Ricky Street. RICY in Houston.
Oh, I just looked at this one earlier today.
Oh, really?
Yes. Here we have a fire burn out in Houston, Texas. Okay, we can see it's a fire burn here. It's a duplex. This side of the duplex has been is Krispy Kreme. We've got a 2008 build, 3890 square foot, 8-bed, 6-bath duplex here in Houston, Texas. Now, did they tell us what the rents were on this?
I do not have the rents.
Okay. Typically, as a duplex, you need the rent to determine. I remember from comping this last that the rents are about $1,500 a side. So times that by 2, that's about $3,000 a month in gross rents. Multiply that by 12, gives us about an ARV of about $360,000 on this property. Now, fire burn, okay? A fire burn typically needs to be bought at usually about 50% of ARV, but you can see that this thing is listed at 170 and hasn't sold yet. That tells me that people who have gone in to see this property are probably seeing that this house is in more need of repair than 50% of ARV will allow for. So I'm going to say you should probably be somewhere in the 40% of ARV for this specific deal. I think this is going to be, very, very close to a full gut. So if I'm you, I'd be offering these guys about 140 for this property. 140.
Awesome.
You should be able to get it done. Look at that. Look at this. They're not far away. Okay, we got nearly 200 people on here, guys, and not enough likes for Emily to get dinner.
Damn, how expensive is my dinner?
It depends on where you guys are going to eat.
True.
Oh yeah,
True.
she's vegan, guys. She only eats vegetables. It'll totally cover it. What's next?
It is a very good upside. Okay. Anyways, Kentucky. We're going to Kentucky.
Whoop, whoop, Kentucky.
222 Rose Hill Avenue in Versailles, Kentucky, I believe. Oh, I think you need to put a space between Rose Hill.
Got it.
There we go.
222 Rose Hill Avenue, Versailles, Kentucky. That is one cute house.
I like the address too.
Yeah, right? I like this. We've got a 3-bed, 2-bath, 5880 square foot house in Versailles, Kentucky. This one was built in, we don't know. Not telling us. But this does look like it is, a fairly aged home. But how awesome. And 5880 square feet, that's going to be one heck of a remodel. So the Zillow estimate on it is $437,800. Now, guys, Rose Hill Avenue is a busy street. We can see that because it's yellow here on the Zillow map. So we really need to be careful about how we evaluate this because we have to make sure we're accommodating for the traffic. And at this price point, traffic is going to be quite an issue. Okay, here's our subject. Wow. Look at this sale. Incredible. This comp up the road, yes, it is much, it's about 2,000 square feet larger, but very much in line with the type of property we're dealing with on our subject. I want to do some reading here and see if there's any additional dwelling units here that we need to pay attention to. So 884 square feet of this are the guest house, which, for me, we have to be careful about adding that into our value. But let's just see what this dollar per square foot is. So 850 divided by 78.84 is around $107 a foot. Okay, at this luxury price point. Now, if we take that, as this is also on a tremendously larger lot than our subject. But if we take that $107 a foot and we apply it to our 5880, that would take us to about $630,000. Now, I do not think that this house is worth $630,000 because A, we have a much smaller lot, and B, we have a much smaller house. But it does lend to there being at least $500,000 in value here in our subject. So let's see if we can find anything else that can give us an indication that this is worth about $500,000. Here we go. Perfect. We have a 3-bed, 6-bath, 5,000 square footer on Morgan Street here, and this appears to be well acquainted as well. This is a great comp for us to use. So this sold for $548,000 at 5,000 square feet. And it's on a similar sized lot. Takes us to about $110 a foot. Okay, so again, going back to our subject, at 5880, takes us to 640. Wow, this could actually be worth in the mid sixes. So now that we know that we can apply that, because this is pretty much the same lot size as our subject, so we don't have to necessarily make a huge accommodation for that extra huge lot. And here we have another example of this mid 6 ARV. And I think that's what it is. So we now just have to make an accommodation for the busy road. So if we're at 645,000, and we're going to take off, you know, I would want to see how busy Rose Hill Avenue is, but I think we need to take off about 10%. So it takes 645 minus 64. I think your ARV on this one is just shy of 600,000. So whoever's deal that was, I'd say ARV on that is about 600K. And I think you need to be picking that up at about 65% of that. So I'd be offering in the 390 to 400 range. Cool. On we go.
Alrighty, I have the next one in Minnesota, I believe. This address is a little interesting. I should have found it in the chat so I could throw it up here. I took a picture of it. Okay. 3940 44th Avenue South. And then it's MPLS. What? Oh,
Minneapolis. Wow, you guys stumped her today.
Dude, okay, I'm done.
We got a 2-bed, 1216 square footer in MPLS, Minnesota. This one just sold in December at 220,000. Now its Zestimate is 223. So it looks like whoever bought this paid possibly close to retail if we're going to go by the Zestimate, but that doesn't mean anything. We're going to need to look a little closer. Built-in 41, 52, 27 square foot lot. The quick comps show us that we might be in the threes. Look at that. Spicy. Let's see what it's worth. Have you ever been to MPLS?
No, I haven't.
I'm sorry. I know I'm just clowning, guys. I'm not being mean. M's amazing.
I'm gonna remember that one. That's not gonna happen again.
No.
Never.
So I'm not gonna let you make fun of me on the Compin show anymore, Jamil. So I'm not seeing a lot in our square footage range. Ooh. So we have a 321 sale, which is a couple hundred square feet larger. It pushes us to about a 300 ARV, but I'm looking for something better. $355 at 420. Now it is a single story, so that's great. So 355 at 1420. What does that give us? About 250 a foot. Multiply that by 12, 16. That gets us again back to 300. So these guys paid paid pretty hefty for this one. Let's see if there's anything else better. This is a Tudor, and I am a little hesitant to use it because I can't see the full elevation of our subject, but possibly a Tudor as well. But it's got siding. I think that it would be irresponsible to use that one, so I'm not gonna. too different of a property type. Here's a 375 at 1432, and this is great. So we can use this 375 divided by 1432 gives us 260 a foot. Multiply that by our 1220. That takes us to 320 ARV. 320 ARV. I'd be trying to buy this at 210. So they paid about 10 grand higher than I would pay. So I don't know that there's actually going to be a deal here, but they bought it. They overpaid a little bit for it. But that just goes to show, guys, my numbers are right. Just saying. Just saying. Like what she did there. You're the best. On we go.
It's okay. Denise feels me. She said, I feel you, Emily. Those M states trip me up too.
You're honestly like probably the best part of this whole show, Emily. It's nobody when it's just me on here, half the people show up. They see you on this thing and they all hang out and they all come. This isn't Straight Outta Compin by Jamil, guys. It's Straight Outta Compin by Emily Vogt featuring this other guy.
Featuring this other guy. I love it.
On we go.
Okay. Next one is in Georgia.
Okay.
1065 Peoples Street. So Peoples is spelled Peeples. 1065 Peoples Street, Southwest.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. Chocolatey. All right, guys, we got a 3-bed, 1-bath, 1518 square footer in Atlanta, Georgia. This house looks rough. Been on the market 47 days. Under contract. Only viewed 800 times. I'm going to go out on a limb, guys, and I'm going to say, let's look at the listing history, though. Let's look at the pricing history. Listed in December at 199, went pending. 3 weeks later, or 2 weeks later at 199, fell out of contract, went listed. I'm going to say 199 is high, especially considering how few people looked at this. And on top of that, the condition that we can see this property is in just based off this front elevation picture. What I think is what's been happening here is wholesalers have been putting this under contract, and they haven't been putting it under contract at the right price, considering its condition. That's just going to be my guess. Let's see if I'm right. See how much you can gain from just looking at a few pieces of information on before you even start looking at the comps. Isn't that crazy? Here's our subject. Well, hot damn. Look at this. 1055 Peoples Street. Let's see what's the size of this one. $10.55 Peoples Street was 2240 square feet. So they did an addition on this. I bet you they blew out the entire back of this house and added square footage to it. What's the size of ours? Remember, by chance? Here, I can pull it up. 1518 square feet. And this is approximately 500 square feet larger. So we're below 400. We're probably, based off of this, somewhere in about the 350 range. Let's see if we can find any more evidence of that to support it. Here we go. 1394 square feet at 350. This pushes us above 350, probably to the 370 range. See if we can find anything even better than that. And I think this solidifies it. We're at about 360. Yeah, 360 to 370 ARV. And we have multiple examples of that being the case. So if we're at 375, what does it need to be bought at? What does that need to be bought at? Because look at the condition of that house, right? That house was in absolute crap condition, right? So what would you need to buy this at? I would say at 45% of its ARV is where it needs to trade in order to make that deal make sense. So if I'm buying this, I'd want to be at 168. They are asking 199. So I'm at about 170. They're asking 200. They're about 30K off. If you go get this under contract at 170, you have a deal.
You have
Again, it just, guys, you see how this works, right? The math that I use works. It works. You just have to know what percentages and what markets, depending on what condition. Then you don't have to do all this minus repairs, minus assignment fee, minus this, minus, Santa Claus's weight size. Like, you don't need to do all this crazy shit. It's simple. It's simple. On we go.
Gabrielle, make sure that you send in the rents if you're sending in multifamily.
Let's do this one for Judy.
Where it at? That's the one that we did. MPL.
Okay. We did that one. Well, here's one in Tacoma, Washington, and we're almost out of our time, but we'll look at this one.
All righty.
What's the address?
1108 Northeast Street in Tacoma, Washington. And then just share your screen whenever.
It was 1108 North what?
He has N space East, so I'm assuming Northeast. Northeast Street.
I don't think that one's going to work. I think he's missing something in there. 1101 Northeast Street. Oh, there it is. Got it. 1101 Northeast Street or East Street in Tacoma, Washington is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1416 square foot house.
Jamil, do you want to share your screen?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
There we go.
3-bed, 2-bath, 1416 square footer in Tacoma, Washington. Needs some love. For sure. Ooh. Okay. So, been on the market only 3 days, viewed 1,949 times. I can tell you right off the hop, when you see this many views in this few days, very good chance that this is priced right. They say diamond in the rough, fixer-upper in Old Town Tacoma. We got a 3-bed, 2-bath built in 1890, 3249 square foot lot. Let's see what it's worth. What was the size of that?
I forgot.
Active at 468. Okay. Oh, shit. I wanted the size. 1416. 1416. Okay. So this shows possibly 500, but you know, there's some pretty decent sales here. Let's see what this pencils out to. It's a few. It's a on the margins, on the borderline of being unusable, just because of it's like 300 square feet larger. But I think it's close. So 725 divided by 1776, $400 a square foot, times that by 1416 gave us about 580. So that pushes us up to about 580. Let's see if we can see anything north of 6 or 7. That's too big. Too big. Looks like that's probably where we're at. We're probably at about a 580 to 600 ARV on this. Let's be a little generous because it is the Tacoma. We'll call it a 600 ARV. You want to be buying this thing at around 420, and they are asking 468. You might be able to go a little bit higher, just depending on the condition. But if you've got a 600 ARV, even at 75%, I think 445 is the max. 440 to 445 is the max you want to be paying for this. But they're in line. These guys are in line with doing a deal here. They're not overpriced dramatically. They're in a good. They're actually priced very close to right on, and that makes sense that we have 1,954 views in 3 days. So see how that works, guys? You see, you can gain so much insight right in the beginning of looking at a house just based off of a few data points. And then you know if you should continue wasting your time or if it's a waste of time or if it's not a waste of time, right? This is why I always show you guys the thought processes that I go through when I'm looking at stuff, because it helps paint a story for me, right? It tells me, what am I looking at here? What am I dealing with? All right. Emily, how many likes did we get?
I don't know. It doesn't show us the YouTube likes here.
Oh, well, guys.
Yeah.
Well, here, I'm going to very quickly go to YouTube and see how much people actually like you.
How much they want me to eat.
Yeah.
See how much. Let's see. 166.
166.
Plus likes, 20 from Facebook.
Wow. She got a bonus, guys. She got a bonus. So Emily, you you can add $166 to your next pay.
You just paid
170. You just got a few more. You're amazing. Thank you again so much for always tuning in, guys. Thank you for loving on her. Thank you for being a part of this community and showing up all the time to run comps, to take care and be a part of this business. I'm telling you, the number one reason why I see people leave is because they get it wrong. They get comping wrong, and then they go and lock up a deal too high, and then they can't sell it. And then they say, oh, this wholesaling thing doesn't work. And then they quit. And it's just because they didn't take the time to learn this piece, So guys, again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for showing up. If you are available at 7 p.m. Arizona time today, that's in about 40 minutes. Pace is going to be doing Sunday service. And if you are tuning into Sunday service, tell him I said hello and wish Laura a happy labor. She's going into labor any minute, guys. Emily, you're incredible. Thank you guys so much. Love you all. Take care. Goodbye.